It's page 82. Yeah. Okay, let's first, like, the groundwork. The groundwork is that it says in the Torah, you know, when we are mamish good, humanly speaking, then there'll be rain. When you are mamish, when you follow the Torah, then there'll always be rain at the right time. Dew is always talo metzah, regardless if you're good or bad. Every night, dew is coming from heaven. And dew we ask for on Pesach, rain we ask on Shmini Atzeres. And also, which is the deepest in the world, like which is just so awesome. Yitzchak says to Esav, I want to bless you tonight, because tonight they open the gates of dew, so this is the time to bless you. And also Rivka said to Yaakov, you have to get the blessings tonight, because tonight they open the gates of dew. Then this is the Gemara. The Gemara says that Yidden said to God, V'yovai kegeshem lonu, Master of the world, be unto us like the rain. So God answered them back, like, my daughter, why did you ask me for rain? There is sometimes rain and sometimes there is not. But I will give you more, I'll give you dew, which is always. Okay, so here is, I basically, not that I know so much, but I haven't seen really other rabbis talking so much about rain and dew. Like, this is one of the things, you know, Ishbitz are confiscated. And do you know that every rebbe, you know, Baruch Shem, you know, every rebbe had their own yontif. The Baal Shem Tov from the Medrash Maggid, Mamish divided the Yom Tovim among his pupils. Like, for instance, Rab Nachman, he says, my Inyan is Rosh Hashanah, right? The Alte Rebbe, Chabad, Moichen, he says, my Inyan is Rosh Hashanah. Then there were other Rebbes, but then was Chanukah, the Oil Hagonus, the hidden light. There were a lot of Rebbes, but then was Purim the most important thing. Adl Yadi, you know, like, Gewalt. What? In Hungary, there were a lot of Rebbes, mamish, and anybody needed a bracha on Purim. Sons, I'm sure the son says everything, but basically, son that says when you need a bracha, come on Chanukah. Yeah. On Chanukah. Yeah. Hard to know, you know. It was hard to know, you know. Wish I would know. Well, how did it look to you? I'm sorry, man? Yeah, me, I thought also because he's so much. You know that the day of the war when it broke out in 1939, there was a Bes Yaakov on davening. Imagine, Gewalt. And on Shabbos. On the yontif of Shabbos. And it came out from print on the day the war broke out. And one of the first things the Germans bombed was this printing plant. So there's nothing left. Heartbreaking. I guess the word wasn't worthy of it. But anyway, okay, now. Before we go every word, let me just tell you. Rain, where does rain begin? Rain begins in this world. Rain comes from the earth, right? A dampness from the world goes up, clouds, rain comes back, right? So it begins here, and it comes back. Dew doesn't come from this world. Dew comes from the highest place in heaven. Rain, when it comes, you know where it's coming from. You can see it's coming from above. Dew, when it's coming, you don't see anything. Suddenly you feel it, right? Rain can rain any time of the day or night. Dew always, at that moment when the night is the darkest, before dawn, when it's just really like, you think there'll never be a day again. At that moment there's dew. Okay, now, everybody knows that we have a two-way relationship with God. Sometimes we begin, I'm asking God, and He's doing it. And then sometimes God just gives it to me. Comes from the highest place in heaven. So everything which comes because of prayers is called rain. Begins here, I'm praying for it, and the Hashem sends it down. Anything which is coming from a place where prayer don't reach, I want to tell you something which is, again, we'll get into it in a deeper way. Let me ask you something. Can anybody here ask me, I want you to walk barefoot right now till Bombay. Just doesn't make sense. Let's assume whatever it is. You know how much walking barefoot to Bombay? How would I walk? Deserts, Mars, not to be believed, right? That means your asking does not reach that deep inside of me that I can bring myself to walk barefoot to Bombay from here. Just doesn't matter, right? What? I know, but I'm taking me. I wouldn't even be able to walk from here to the center of the city barefoot. I'm just not into it, right? Forget about Bombay, anything impossible, right? Imagine if my children Mamasha would see my children need it. It'd be no problem. You know what it is? There is something inside of me where asking doesn't reach. Asking doesn't reach. So we, Jeden said, be to us like rain. That means let us be in touch with the headquarters for prayers. You know the worship answered us? I'll be to you like the dew. God says, you know where you are reaching? Where prayers don't even reach. Where prayers don't reach. Something else. And you see the way he puts it? Do I really know what I'm praying for? You know, my consciousness is so limited that I know a little bit about my own prayers, but I only know the outside of my prayers. The inside of my prayers is so deep. The inside of my prayers. So you know what the Moshe tells us? You think you only pray what you know you're praying for? See what the Moshe says, even dew also comes because of prayers. But it comes from those prayers which you don't even know. Which you don't even know. I tell you, on a very, very deep level, you know. Let's say a person, a lot of times, a person says, Mamash, I'm praying for my soulmate, you know, you're praying. It's rain, right? And you meet a girl and you marry her. I tell you something else. Then you really meet your soulmate, then suddenly it's clear to you, I was praying for her, right? What do you mean? You didn't even know who she is, right? But the Rebbe knows. I want you to know. Chana said to Eli Cohen, El Hana Hadei Spaloti. I prayed for this child. Because he thought that she prayed for a child. No, Chana. She says, no, I prayed for this child. Suddenly it was clear to her, she was praying for Shmuel Anobi. Okay, now, one more very important thing. Remember learning it, this is very, like, outstanding Torah. A little bit by Rab Nachman, and very strong in Ishbitz. You know, Machusse de Are, Ke'em Machusse de Shmai. There's a Torah on do also? Unbelievable.
I didn't get a chance.
Okay, maybe learn it in a few minutes. Chava, you here? In this world, there's two relationships. The relationship of business. I give you $100, you give me merchandise for $100. I give you $1,000, you give me merchandise for $1,000. Then there's another relationship, a gift. And even if I give you a gift because you did me a favor, but it's not, I will not say, you did me a favor worth $10, I'll give you a gift for $10. You did me a favor for $50. It doesn't go this way. It's a completely different kind of thing. I want to give you a gift. A gift is never measured. Okay, I'm learning inside now. There's a few lines after. Nihe Yais. She'inyin geshem moir al pa'ulas odam. Because rain is what we are doing. Because, you know, rain comes from here and goes up. That means and everything which comes because of us, you know, anything I do, anything we human beings do, because we are not perfect. You know what's so special about human beings? The special thing about us is that we are not perfect. This makes us so beautiful. Imagine you would meet a person whose mom is absolutely 100% complete. Would you want to have any geschäft with that person? You see, this was basically the mistake of Adam. Other Mauritians thought that since I'm God's image, I'm created by God, I have to be completely perfect. And if I'm not, I'm out. You see, why did he think that way? Because a snake said to Eve, if you want to be like God, you have to eat the tree of knowledge. So it gets already into him that a human being has to be like God. God is God and human being is human being. God is perfect and I'm not. Just a little yiddah, right? But since rain is produced by us, so rain is never perfect. That means it is very beautiful, very holy, very beautiful, but it's not all there is to it. The Indian Tal Moira al Kol Ma Shibarak mit Siddur Yisborach Bilti Avodas Odom Emelu Betachlis Hashlemis B'Lishim Cheson. But anything which comes from God is complete. It means rain is beautiful, but it doesn't have this all in it. Dew, since it's coming from such a high place in heaven, it's not much perfect. ומכל מקום אין יוכל לאודם מצידו לבקש כל היום, לבקש על טל, כי טל לא רק חסד יסבוך, Chesed ke'el kol hayom. I cannot ask God for do, because I have no right to ask. You know, I can ask Rothschild for $10,000, for 10 million, anything. I cannot tell him, give me all your money. Doesn't go, right? This all, this perfectness, I have no right to ask. So we can ask for rain, but we can't ask for dew.
Rain comes from God too.
Yeah, but it's in proportion with our prayers. You see, the Torah says, if you're good, I'll give you rain. If you're not so good, I won't give you rain. That means rain is like on a business level between us and God. Dew is on a gift level. כי טל הוא רק חסדו יסבור כדכסיב, חסד כאל כל היום. כעניין החוף of דוירה שהוא יותר מקבולת התורה, שזון אויסם שיסבור רק בחסדו. You know, the 26 generations before God gave us the Torah. And this is very important to know, friends. Before giving of the Torah and after, it's not just that after the Torah I have 613 laws which I didn't have before. The whole relationship between man and God has changed. Before God gave us the Torah on Mount Sinai, what I'm doing or not doing, I mean, I should be good, but it doesn't really matter. God is feeding me. God is feeding the world, including me. After God gave us the Torah, everything I have depends on how I am. Which is gewalt with. That means yeah. Okay, let's put it this way. Like the mother says, when my child is small, I feed my baby all the time. When my child is 35 years old, I say to my child, you know, I don't want just to feed you. Here, I give you $1 million and open your own store and see what you can do. So, after we came out of Egypt, we were old enough. And if you remember, Shabbos HaGodel is suddenly called Shabbos HaGodel, the great Shabbos. This another Torah in Egypt we haven't learned yet. What is a great person? A great person is that whatever you have depends on how much work you do. Simple as it is. While we were in Egypt, we didn't have a chance yet to serve God. We were not God's servants yet. So God was feeding us. What's the whole thing of mitzvahs? It's a business deal. You keep Shabbos, God gives you this, you eat kosher, and for everything you paid, you know. You know, it's very cute. The Heilige Robschitzer once walked on the street and he met this little idiot. I mean, few Yidden were not completely there. So the Robschitzer says to him, so how's your babos, how's your master? Does he pay you on time? He starts cracking, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Then he says, Robschitzer, how's your babos, how's your master? Does he pay on time? He says, my master always pays on time. So he says, I would like to work for him also. You know? So the Heilige Robschitzer took him as a Gabe, you know? Took him as a Shamasl. I just want to tell you, without getting off, when the Robschitzer passed away, they asked Shamasl, tell us something about Heilige Robschitzer. He says, I have no idea what you make such a big tumult about him. He was an ordinary person like me, you know. See, the Robschitzer especially, an ordinary person like me, you see, the Robschitzer took somebody who was such an idiot they didn't see how special he is, because he wanted to hide everything. You know? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Just push the heat. Then they say, you got to tell us something about him. Then he says, you know, I remember something crazy. He says, one time we went to the mikveh, and suddenly the Robschitzer was so long in the mikveh until the candle burned out, and it was dark. So the Reb Shlomo says there was some ice hanging down, a piece of ice, He says, why didn't you take a piece of ice and put some fire on it and it'll give us light in the mikveh, Says you see something crazy, I remember. I mean, he didn't even understand what kind of, but anyway. So the Rebbe Shlomo pays on time, and the Rebbe Shlomo pays one way or the other. You see, we never know, we have no idea how our credit is in heaven, right? We have no idea, right? Hey. Why you gotta say hello to Susan? Oh, hi, darling. Okay, I'll make it fast. Imagine if someone does a lot of business with him. So from time to time, a good customer give a little bonus, right? So it says, I give you gifts. But you only get gifts when the business is good. There's this famous moshel from the Alter Rebbe. A person walks into this, walking into, let's say, General Motors, and I said, something, I need some, 20,000 feet of ropes or something along, how do you call it? How do you tie string? So he says, are you crazy? General Motors says, I go to a store, you're asking for 20, I don't even know who you are. He says, why? Last week, my friend Moishele, who does a lot of business with you, he bought, for $2 million merchandise from you, and you gave him 20,000 feet of strings. I says, if you buy for $2 million merchandise, I give you 20,000 feet of string, but if you don't buy anything, you just come in, you want some string, go somewhere else, right? Same to Rebbe Shlomo. Hopefully not, but that's what he says. If you do good business with him, he gives you also gifts. But if you don't do any business with him, suddenly you come, you want to have a gift, it doesn't go this way. So therefore, listen to this. So we only asked for rain. We didn't have the chutzpah to ask for dew. Because you cannot ask for gifts unless you do business. But he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashiva, Eye Getal Yisrael Gewalt. You know what the Rebbe Shlomo says? You have it all wrong. You have it all wrong. Mamash, I want to give you my oitza matas chinam. I want to give you gifts for no reason. You think I'm like General Motors, I only give you a gift because of the good business. The Rebbe Shlomo has a different relationship to us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shiva Geheugen, Eye Getal Yisrael, Heine she'eftach lochem kol ha'oitza shel matas chinam. But you know what the special thing about God is? This is the deepest depth. The Rebbe Shlomo shows us that even the gifts are also on the level of business, that we deserve it, that He owes it to us. The Gemara says, when someone gives you a gift, if you don't deserve it, you let your face hang down because you feel a little bit ashamed. Imagine a person would walk up to me and says, I want to give you a gift of $2 million. I'd be ashamed. I'll take it, but obviously, 50-50, brother. But, when I buy something, I look him straight in the face, right? It's a straight deal. The gift, you know what the Gemara says, why are we in this world? Can God give us Gan Eden without? Because if I would be in Gan Eden without deserving it, I wouldn't be able to look God straight in the face. I would be ashamed. So God says, okay, you can work for it, deserve it. It's a Gewalt, right? But here comes this Ishbitz little twist. You know what the Roshim does? He shows us that we deserve it. I'm reading the last two lines. Kochu ingi natal shinoisen shemitzvor liYisrael sheyesh bo hayofi korach shel shnei. Hayofi korach shel mechahu. Because it feels so good, I get paid for my work. It gives you a certain pride. V'hayofi korach shel matona. You know what the gift is? It's beyond measures. Only God can give it to me. You know, maybe I deserve $10 for my work, but God gives me $2 million. But you see, the way God gives me the $2 million is that God gives it to me in such a way that I deserve it. And again, you know, what I deserve, you know. Imagine, you know, in the hotel, they have a cashier, right? There you pay for the rooms. You go there, give you the bill and pay, right? There is no special place where you get gifts from the hotel, right? You know what it is? Whatever God gives me for what I deserve is one headquarters. The headquarters for those gifts. This is the highest headquarters. And that headquarters is just so special. I remember, without mentioning names, one of our Chavre got married. So it was before Pesach, we had just learned this Torah. I told him I have seen a chosn giving the ring to his color on the level of rain. Yeah? And then I have seen a chosn giving to his wife the ring on the level of dew. You know? Not on the level of a business deal, right? Which is so much deeper. And here I want you to open your heart. What was the mistake of the spies? The spies thought that Israel, the land of Israel, is given to us on the level of business. We have Torah mitzvahs, we receive the Torah, the children of Avraham Avinu, for that God gives us the Holy Land. And you remember they came back and they said, "Kechozeku mimenu," we are not strong enough to inherit the land. You know what they meant? They meant we don't have enough Torah mitzvahs yet to inherit the land, because they were all prophets, right? They looked up the heavenly bank. Eden of Sweden, Eden home, but it's far away, right? We don't have it yet. They made one mistake. You know, the fixing was that Moshe Rabbeinu says, "B'schan Hashem matnos chinam, ma'oitza matnos chinam." Moshe says, Rabbi Hashem said, "We go into the land not because I deserve it, because there is nothing in the world which is big enough to deserve the Holy Land. Just a gift. Just a gift." And you see what it is. This is so deep and so beautiful. Why is Purim deeper than Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is still a little bit on a business level. I say, Rabbi Shem, I need a good year, so I'll do tshuva. I did 100 mitzvahs and 2,000 averos, can be maybe even it out a little bit, you know. You let me off on 100 averos and I will add 100 mitzvahs, you know. It's holy accountant business. Remember, we're learning it on Purim. Whatever we do, God is also doing. You know, what is this thing that Mordechai and Esther initiated? On Purim, you give shlachvonos. You know what shlachvonos means? Give you a gift. In heaven, the same way, right? See, on Purim, I'm not standing before God and I say, listen, I did a few averlach, you know, please, you know, take it off the list because I'll do this. It'll be the most awesome profanation of the holiness of Purim. But you know what God does to us? This is what He says. God gives it to us like we deserve it. Because when someone gives you a gift and you absolutely don't deserve it, you're put to shame a little bit, tiny bit. So let's continue to learn. This is the deepest. But to whom is God giving all the gifts on the level that he deserves it? It's only given to a person who knows that God doesn't owe him anything. This is the ground. Because the truth is, God owes me something. So I knock in a few shachas, a few mincha, a little tefillin, a little kosher, what God gives me, right? Because everything together, what I do, is maybe worth 2 pennies, and God gives me millions. You know how deep this is? Until Avraham Avinu, do you know the first woman who had no children was a Holy Mother Sarah. I don't know if you know this, that the whole period, a lot of women would take special medication not to have children because they wanted to stay beautiful. But basically, by nature, every woman had children. Suddenly, here comes our Holy Mother Sarah, and she had no children. Why is God making it so hard? Why couldn't Avraham Avinu get married 25, for 26 they have a child? Because Yitzchak, what kind of a son would Yitzchak be, right? They get married, they have a child. Yitzchak can only be born after so much davening. After so much davening. And not only just ordinary davening, like it's impossible, right? Avraham is 100 and so is 90. Remember, we were learning it a lot of times, nearly every year. You know, I have a thing, I always interview the people who are shown when they come out from shul. You know, I'm just saying it. Okay, so there's an old couple coming out from the shul, right? She is 85 and he's 95 and they're holding on to each other and they're walking out. I said, oh, it's so beautiful, thank you for coming to our synagogue. Could you please tell me what you are praying for? So they said, we are praying for a child, right? So, he said, I'm sure God will help you, you know. Everybody looks, and 2 therapists are standing next to me, and they think, oh, you know, they're gone, forget it, right? They're coming back. By now he's 96 and she's 86. They say, oh, I'm so glad to see you again. What were you praying for this year? And they say, you remember we are praying for children. Well, now listen to this. Then he is 100 and she is 90. And they're coming back with a baby carriage. That's Yitzchak, right? Laughter. I don't mean giggling. Mamish. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, right? I want you to know something which is awesome. And this is Mamsh, this is Ishbitz on so you show him on Rosh Hashanah. But even Avraham and Sarah, after Yitzchak was born, they still thought it was a little bit because God listened to our prayers. What was really the purpose of the Akedah? When God says, Avraham, sacrifice your only son, that's it. And then God says to him, Al tishlach yodcha lana. You know what happened at that moment? Avraham Avinu knew this is a mamish gift. Yitzchak is a mamish gift. Nothing else. And the Ishbitz says from that moment on, all our children are just gifts. Just go out, right? Yitzchak paved the way. And you know, and what is the real truth? Or was it not Avraham and Sarah's praying, right? But here I just want to give you a taste of the inside. On the outside, Avraham Avinu says, Mamash, I'm ready to sacrifice Yitzchak. Let me ask you, wasn't he praying inside, please God have compassion? Please God have compassion. But you see that prayer of Avraham and Yitzchak, I just want you to open your heart. Avraham and Yitzchak praying for Yitzchak to stay alive was completely beyond consciousness, right? Because consciously Avraham says, I'm sacrificing my son. God wants to sacrifice, there's no question. Right? The Yeshkem Avraham Baboy gets up in the morning, is ready to do it. I want you to know the deepest steps. You know where the Oitzer Matnas Chinim is? Very high. You know when Sarah heard that Avraham wants to sacrifice Yitzchak, you know what Sarah did? She took off. You know why? Because in this world, you can only reach to the place where rain is. To reach where dew is, there is no highway from here to up there. We have to be up there already. So everybody knows, at that moment, when Zoe came up there was a voice from heaven, Al tishlach yodcha lana. Don't do anything to Yitzchak. God says, I never want you to kill him, I just want him to put on the Mizbeach. But it was like... And here I want you to know the deepest depths. I tell you, you know, to be a Jew is a business deal, right? My mother's Jewish, I'm Jewish. My Baba was Jewish, I'm Jewish. It's not true. My Baba can be 2,000 times Jewish. It's mamish a gift to me. It's mamish a gift. And you see, our holy mothers, they were the experts on gifts. They were the experts on gifts. I want you to know something very deep. Why is it that men are more in the business world? You know, when you have a good friend, a man, I'm a good friend, do you feel the need giving them gifts all the time now? When you meet a girl you love, even just a little bit, you want to give her a gift. Because Chava brought down this gift into the world, right? Because basically Chava was God's gift to Adam, right? It was not a business deal. I don't even know if you prayed for it, you know. They didn't even know such thing exists, right? There was no television yet, so he didn't see what's going on. Okay, I want you to know, Yitzchak is din, right? Is there anybody more strict? Is there anybody more rain than Yitzchak? If I were to ask you, I would say that Avraham Avinu is dew and Yitzchak is rain, right? But you know what the craziest thing is? Yitzchak is blessing the first night of the Seder because it's the night of the dew. You know what Yitzchak brought down to the world? This deepest, okay, let's continue because it'll be so clear later on. So you hear just one more time. The business deal with God, God gives you something, but it's limited. It's not 100% perfect. When God gives you from Otzem Matnos Chinam, it's not He gives you more or something you couldn't get. It comes from another world. It comes from another world. I'm reading again from the fourth line from upstairs. Let's start from the second line. Third line. But this time I'll try to really stick to the words. What's so beautiful about the gift? God gives you beyond your avoid, beyond what you do, beyond what you deserve. You see, when I go to a candy store, I buy 5 candies and they give me 2 candies more extra, I could have bought that, I didn't, they give it to me as a gift. But what God gives me, this extra gift of God, is not I could have gotten it, but I didn't have enough. It comes from another world. It's a completely different merchandise. But who is getting it? Because if a person knows that after everything I did, God doesn't owe me anything. So good, so you keep Shabbos, so therefore. So you put on film, so therefore. Kamash ein bekor pulos avidos el hasik. V'hod elei have a matome kemecha. Te'ila have le anomen in le yortle. You know what it is? When this person, mamish is clear to him or to her, that God doesn't owe me anything, then suddenly even the business deal turns into the deepest gift. You know, if a person, mamish, knows God doesn't owe me anything. You know how deep this is, you know. You know, sometimes you meet a person and deep inside they really think, you know what I'm doing for God, Gewalt, I'm a Yid, I do this. And then you speak all the so-called Jewish leaders, the secular. They think what they do for Israel is not to be believed, right? They're full of it. They're lucky. Maybe Reb Yitzchak would say something about, right? But you know what the real thing is? I didn't do anything yet. I wish I could. So he says, rain is that God gives you, mamish, in proportion what you deserve. And do is that even the business deal becomes a gift. You know what that means? I don't know how to make myself clear. Let me ask something very deep. I'm walking up to a woman and I give her a ring which is worth $5. And for that she has to dedicate her life to me? It's crazy, right?